Hey y'all, so I did a video basically like is the Pizzagate saga comparable to is the Epstein saga comparable to Pizzagate? And now I'm looking into Pizzagate because I never paid that much attention. I just vote, do whatever. I didn't get into all the conspiracy theories during the 2016 election or even 20. I didn't get too bogged down in the side shows, I guess you could call it, because there's so much crap going on. And I think I was still working then. But anyway, so this is again about Pizzagate. So there's criminal responses. It says a shooting incident. Edgar Madison Welch, a 28-year-old from Salisbury, North Carolina, arrived at Comet Ping Pong and fired three shots from an AR-15 style rifle that struck the restaurant's walls, a desk, and a door on December 4th, 2016, which later told police that he had planned to self investigate the pizza, or excuse me, investigate the conspiracy theory. Sorry. Welch saw himself as a potential hero of the story, a rescuer of children. He surrendered after officers surrounded the restaurant and was arrested without incident. No one was injured. Welch told police he had read online that the Comet restaurant was harboring child sex slaves and that he wanted to see for himself if they were there. In an interview with the New York Times, Welch later said that he regretted how he had handled the situation, but did not dismiss the conspiracy theory and rejected the description of it as fake news. Some conspiracy theorists speculated the shooting was a staged attempt to discredit their investigation. Welch was charged with one count of interstate transportation of a firearm with intent to commit an offense, which is a federal crime, on December 13th, 2016. According to court documents, Welch attempted to recruit friends 3 days before the attack by urging them to watch a YouTube video about the conspiracy. He was subsequently charged with two additional offenses, with the grand jury returning an indictment charging him with assault and with a dangerous weapon and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. Following a plea agreement with prosecutors, Welch pleaded guilty to the federal charge of interstate transport of firearms and the local District of Columbia charge of assault with a dangerous weapon on March 24th, 2017. Welch also agreed to pay $5,743 or $44.33 for damages to the restaurant. U.S. District Judge and future U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson sentenced Welch to 4 years in prison on June 22nd, 2017. At the sentencing hearing, Welch apologized for his conduct and said he had been foolish and reckless. On March 3rd, 2020, Welch was transferred to a community corrections center. He was released on May 28th. On January 4th, 2025, 8 years after the initial incident at the Comet Ping Pong, two police officers from Kannapolis, North Carolina, pulled over Welch's vehicle at a traffic stop over an outstanding warrant for his arrest for a felony probation violation. Welch was a passenger in the vehicle. When they attempted to arrest him, he pulled out a gun and refused orders to drop it, and the officer shot him. Welch had died 2 days later. Dang. Other events on January 12th, 2017, Yusuf Lee Jones, a 52-year-old man from Shreveport, Louisiana, pleaded guilty in the U.S. District Court of the Western District of Louisiana to making the threatening phone call to Besta Pizza, another pizzeria on the same block as Comet Ping Pong. 3 days after Welch's attack, he said he threatened Besta to save the kids and finish what the other guy didn't. The city of Portsmouth, England, experienced its own version of Pizzagate when the Scottish owner of a vaping business was targeted in what the Sunday Times called a xenophobic campaign in 2018. This lasted 6 months. The main culprit, Oliver Redmond, was prosecuted and sentenced to 5 months in prison. Judge William Mousley, QC, also imposed a 3-year restraining order and was quoted as follows. Mr. Cheap said he saw 15 to 20 screenshots a day regarding him, his partner, and his business. It was described as a pedophile grooming operation, and the suggestion was made that the children were in the basement of the store. And he described that you were passing information on to his suppliers that he was a pedophile and that there was an international investigation involving Mr. Cheap. Comet Ping Pong suffered an arson attack when a fire was started in one of the back rooms on January 25th, 2019. Uh, Employees quickly extinguished the blaze and nobody was injured. The perpetrator escaped, but was arrested a few days later while climbing a fence at the Washington Monument and tied to the arson via security footage. He had posted a video referencing QAnon prior to the arson. So, debunking. The conspiracy theory has been widely discredited and debunked. It has been judged to be false after detailed investigation by the fact checking website Snopes.com and the New York Times, which Snopes, I think, was actually a couple or something like that. I saw something about that. They weren't exactly truthful people themselves. So I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Who the hell do you believe is all I'm saying? Okay, numerous news organizations have debunked it as a conspiracy theory, including the New York Observer, the Washington Post, the Independent, the Huffington Post, the Washington Times, the Los Angeles Times, Fox News, CNN, and the Miami Herald. The Metropolitan Police Department of the District of Columbia characterized the matter as fictitious. Much of the purported evidence cited by the conspiracy theory's proponents have been taken from entirely different sources and made to appear as if it supported the conspiracy. Images of children, of family, and friends of the pizzeria staff were taken from social media sites such as Instagram and claimed to be photos of victims. The New York Times published an article that analyzed the theory's claims on December 10th, 2016. They emphasized that the theorists linked the conspiracy to Comet Ping Pong through similarities between company logos and symbols related to Satanism and pedophilia. However, the Times noted similarities were also found in the logos of a number of unrelated companies such as AOL, Time Warner, and MSN. Theorists claimed an underground network beneath Comet Ping Pong. Okay, the restaurant has no basement. However, in the picture used to support this claim was taken in another facility. Theorists claimed to have a picture of restaurant owners Elefantis wearing a t-shirt endorsing pedophilia. However, the image was of another person in the shirt, which read J. Hart L. Lafant, French for I love the child. Okay, was actually a reference to the Elephant Cafe bar in DC, whose owner was pictured in the image, and which itself is named after Pierre Charles L'Enfant, whatever, the designer of the much of the layout of Washington, D.C. Theorists claim John and Tony Podesta kidnapped Madeleine McCann in 2007 using police sketches that were, in fact, two sketches of the same suspect taken from the descriptions of two eyewitnesses. The descriptions mentioned the suspect was aged between 20 and 40. However, in 2007, Tony Podesta was 64 and John Podesta was 58. No alleged victims have come forward and no physical evidence has been found. And I will say that somebody, I think, mentioned that one of these two, I don't know which one, but one of them has like weird art and stuff like that inside of his house. And it was like kind of like inappropriate or overly sexualized. And I think there was even an article with the guy in it. So it might be this one, because I think this one worked in like maybe the Clinton campaign or something. and this is his brother. I think that's how it works. I believe it was on Tucker, honestly, but we'll see. I'll see if I can find anything on it. Okay, in like responses in an interview with NPR on November 27, 2016, Comet Ping Pong owner James Elephantis referred to the conspiracy theory as an insanely complicated, made up fictional lie based story in a coordinated political attack. Syndicated columnist David Ruth wrote that the conspiracy theorists' assertions were dangerous and damaging fake allegations, and that they were repeatedly debunked, disproved, and dismissed. Despite the conspiracy theory being debunked, it continued to spread on social media with over 1 million messages using hashtag PizzaGate on Twitter in November of 2016. Stephanie McWilliams, who wrote an article promoting the conspiracy on Planet Free Will, was subsequently reported by the Toronto Star saying, I really have no regrets, and it's honestly really grown our audience. PizzaGate, she said, is two words clashing. People don't trust the mainstream media anymore, but it's true that people shouldn't take the alternative media as truth either. On December 8th, 2016, Hillary Clinton responded to the conspiracy theory, speaking about the dangers of fake news websites. She said the epidemic of malicious fake news and fake propaganda that flooded social media over the past year, it's now clear that so-called fake news can have real-world consequences. So, public opinion. A poll conducted by Public Policy Polling on December 6th to 7th, 2016, asked 1,224 U.S. registered voters if they thought Hillary Clinton was connected to a child sex ring being run out of a pizzeria in Washington, D.C. 9% of respondents said they believed she was connected. 72% said they did not, and 19% were not sure. A poll of voters conducted on December 17th through the 20th by The Economist /YouGov asked voters if they believe that leaked emails from the Clinton campaign talked about pedophilia and human trafficking. Pizzagate. The results showed that 17% of Clinton voters responded true, while 82% responded not true, and 46% of Trump voters responded true, while 53% responded not true. Academic Roger Lancaster likened the impact of Pizzagate to the satanic panic of the 1980s. At the time, hundreds of daycare workers were falsely accused of abusing children. Oh boy. Alex Jones and InfoWars. So, whatever you think of Alex Jones, it's okay. Whatever. You like him, you don't. I'm not here to judge that at all. But anyway, it says, I mean, I know he's just outspoken on a lot of topics, so I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not saying he did anything wrong, but whatever. He's got his opinions. So after the Comet Ping Pong shooting, Alex Jones of InfoWars backed off from the idea that the DC pizzeria was the center of the conspiracy. On December 4th, InfoWars uploaded a video that linked Pizzagate to the November 13th death of a sex workers' rights activist. The video falsely claimed that she had been investigating a link between the Clinton Foundation and human trafficking in Haiti. It speculated she had been murdered in connection with her investigation. According to the activist's former employer, friends, and family, her death was in fact a suicide, and she was not investigating the Clinton Foundation. By December 14th, InfoWars had removed 2 of its 3 Pizzagate related videos. In February 2017, Elephantis' lawyers sent Jones a letter demanding an apology and retraction. Under Texas law, Jones was given a month to comply or be subjected to a libel suit. In March 2017, Alex Jones alleged or apologized to Elephantis for promulgating the conspiracy theory, saying, to my knowledge today, neither Mr. Elephantis nor his restaurant, Comet Ping Pong, were involved in any human trafficking as part of the theories about Pizzagate that were being written about in many media outlets in which we commented upon. InfoWars also issued a correction on its website. Jones said, I want our viewers and listeners to know that we regret any negative impact our commentaries may have had on Mr. Alefante's, Comet Ping Pong, or its employees. We apologize to the extent our commentary could be construed as negative statements about Mr. Alefantis or Comet Ping Pong, and we hope that anyone else involved in commenting on Pizzagate will do the same. Michael Flynn, Michael Flynn and Michael Flynn Jr. In the days leading up to the 2016 election, Michael Flynn, then a close supporter of Donald Trump and later Trump's national security advisor, posted multiple tweets on Twitter containing a conspiratorial material or containing conspiratorial material regarding Hillary Clinton and her staff. They allege that John Podesta drank the blood and bodily fluids of other humans in satanic rituals, which Politico says soon morphed into the Pizzagate conspiracy theory involving Comet Ping Pong. On November 2nd, 2016, Flynn tweeted a link to a story with unfounded accusations and wrote, You decide, NYPD blows whistle on new Hillary emails, money laundering, sex crimes with children, etc. Must read. The tweet was shared by over 9,000 people, but was deleted, from Flynn's account sometime during December 12th through the 13th of 2016. After the shooting incident at Comet Ping Pong, Michael Flynn Jr., Michael T. Flynn's son, and also a member of Trump's transition team, tweeted, Until Pizzagate proven to be false, it remains a story. The left says to forget Podesta emails and the main or many coincidences tied to it. On December 6th, 2016, Flynn Jr. was forced out of Trump's transition team. Spokesman Jason Miller did not identify the reason for his dismissal, however. The New York Times reported that other officials had confirmed it was related to the tweet. So I'm going to stop here and then we'll see if we can, finish this section up. I don't really know a lot about like this QAnon stuff, but I'm just trying to figure it out because it kind of somehow relates. If there really is such a thing as like a pedo ring, I'm just saying I'm not saying that that's what it is, but it kind of in some ways can be compared to potentially what happened with Epstein. But anyway, who knows? We'll never get the truth. I'm sure even if we get information, say even from Ghislaine Maxwell, do we really know if it's true or not? I have no clue. And I'm not saying that she's going to give everything up. She may just be like, I don't want to. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.